If you're curious if the 2019 remake of The Lion King is any good, it definitely has some good moments, but they aren't enough to redeem the movie from its underwhelming musical numbers and overall lack of energy from the CGI characters. Filmmakers of any Disney remake have the impossible task of respecting the animated source material while also trying to give the audience something they haven't seen before. And director Jon Favreau, who also directed the remake of The Jungle Book, generally chose to avoid taking creative risks by taking the safe route instead, by respecting the source material so much that the movie is an almost shot-by-shot recreation of the original. I don't really blame him because it's hard to mess with the perfection of the first film, but as a result, it didn't take long for the movie to feel stale because of how much the movie was trying to be like the original but couldn't, because of the restrictions the filmmakers placed on the CGI characters. The new visuals are incredible to look at, with a stunning amount of detail. Pumbaa, for example, looks so much more believable as a stinky, mangy warthog in the remake, because of the minute details computers can achieve much easier than the painstaking labor of hand-drawn animation. But the filmmakers made a huge effort to stay more grounded in reality, in order to set the movie apart from the cartoony look of the original. And where the effort to have lifelike CGI animals fell apart was in their inability to show human emotion to make the characters feel more relatable. The hand-drawn characters moved like the animals they represented, but their movements were very dynamic, using a lot of fast gestures, and their facial expressions were more human-like, making their emotions more relatable to the audience. The remake, on the other hand, wanted the CGI characters to be more like animals and less cartoony, so this meant their facial expressions were very lifeless, almost like watching old movies such as Milo and Otis or Homeward Bound, where the voice actors' performances were dubbed over blank stares of real animals on screen. And the CGI characters' movements also felt stale and very slow because of the filmmakers' apparent desire to avoid the characters behaving too cartoonish. The musical numbers are another area where the remake suffers from a lack of visual appeal because of the movie's desire to stick closer to reality. The most visually underwhelming song by far, well besides Be Prepared, but I'll get to that in a minute, was I Just Can't Wait to Be King. The animated version of Simba's song was colorful, full of energy, and could embrace cartoony slapstick humor like Zazu flying into the back of a rhino, or far-fetched visuals like Simba and Nala riding on the back of ostriches and sitting on top of an animal pyramid. In comparison, the remake's version of the song was very dull, because it was Simba and Nala restricted to singing while mostly just walking or running around together. All of the songs are back and are infused with a lot more soul this time around, which was refreshing. But the worst of all the songs to return was Be Prepared, that made more of a short cameo appearance rather than a full-scale comeback. Scar's song ends just as quickly as it begins, and just like the other musical numbers, there aren't any strong dynamic visuals to go with it, and because of its short length, it doesn't allow Chiwetel Ejiofor's delivery to build into a big finish like the original. Perhaps the short length was a result of Ejiofor's lack of singing experience, but whatever the reason, Be Prepared is a popular song that felt like a missed opportunity to add more depth to Scar's character. On the flip side though, the musical number that I thought was better than the original isn't really a musical number, but is when Timon and Pumbaa sing their rendition of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. The animated movies version is too short, and every time I see it, I wish it would go on longer to see how it would develop. But the version in the remake is much longer, and has some fun percussive rhythms added to it, and it ends in a new way that is much better than the original. The Lion King story is pretty much the same with only a few short additional scenes. The most satisfying one is a brief conversation Scar has with Sarabi once he's taken over Pride Rock that adds some backstory to their relationship. The best and most noticeable changes to the dialogue are all the jokes, which include some funny fourth wall breaks by Timon and Pumbaa before and during Hakuna Matata. If you've seen any Disney remake in recent years, it probably won't surprise you to hear that this movie doesn't live up to the original. But compared to the other Disney remakes, The Lion King is way better than The Jungle Book, but not as good as Beauty and the Beast, which I think is the best remake so far. If you're a die-hard Disney fan, or The Lion King is one of your favorite movies, then seeing the remake is worth it to experience the lifelike details to the characters, the soulful renditions of the songs, and enjoy its updated sense of humor. Just keep in mind that it's not a cartoon, and tries very hard to distance itself from behaving like one, so the character's emotional delivery and movements may feel underwhelming and stale overall. If you saw the movie, let me know your opinion about it in the comments, and make sure to check out my fun fact video about the original Lion King by clicking the video you see on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.